there, good evening. If you're just joining our coverage here on BBC One Wales, it's Ukraine hosting Wales, a Euros 2025 qualifier. And they look ready to go in Poland, don't they? So let's join our commentary team. Former Wales international Gwennan Harris is alongside Simon Davis.
Thank you, Catherine. And for the second time in 5 days, it is the test of Ukraine for Wales. It was only a draw in Llanelli, so a win would be most welcome in Poland this evening. Wales still unbeaten and top of Group B4, and still nicely placed for a playoff place, you feel, to qualify, or at least we hope the eventual aim will be to qualify, Gwennan, for Euro 2025.
Yeah, they're still in the driving seat. Obviously, we'll be disappointed to have dropped points at home, but actually trying to look at the positives out of the game. Not the best performance, but come away with something to keep them in the driving seat.
Caroline Lansens is tonight's referee, leading a team of all Belgian officials, except for the fourth official, who is Manon Pladson of the Netherlands. There we see Lewis Joel, one of 4 changes for Wales this evening from that game on Friday. As Gwennan, Helen and Katie were saying, big night for Lewis Joel, and a reshuffle of the pack as well, with Sophie Ingle going back into defence. An unbeaten Wales kick off in Poland, and you feel that only a win will do against Ukraine to get rid of that disappointment from Friday night and that draw against Ukraine.
Yeah, changes being made, and you know, rightly so, I think. Freshen up the squad and the team, but I think you'll see Wales in the same system with that 3-back, 3-4-2-1, that box midfield.
And you can hear the Welsh support in Poznan this evening. And Wales, yeah, 4 changes in all for Rhian Wilkinson's team. Also coming into the team, Kayleigh Barton, Rachel Rowe, Carrie Jones. So it is the team that finished the game in Llanelli, and here is at Harriet James! Well, it was Rachel Rowe and Barton back towards Fishlock, and Wales mean business, you feel. Well, it was Jess Fishlock who had the eventual shot that went wide, and already Wales showing positivity.
Hugely positive start. Something that we didn't see often on Friday evening was actually playing those long diagonal balls. Gemma Evans has been superb with those in this campaign, and as soon as Rachel Rowe had that great touch, I thought he was going to nestle in the back of the net.
Corner towards Barton, and Ukraine struggling to get it away. James, and it's another corner. Well, the criticism of Wales in Llanelli was that they started the game poorly, and they have come out of the starting blocks very quickly here.
That was a superb touch by Rachel Rowe, just to take it down as it was coming over her shoulder. She did well to keep the ball low as well, low and hard. Make Kelishuk make the save.
A second successive corner over the head of Barton. Rachel Rowe. Here's James. Holland's cross, not a bad one. Barton wants it, comes back out to Ingle, and the deflected shot means another corner. Well, 2 minutes in, and Wales have shown real intention here.
Yeah, as this comes back out here, I've actually got visions of Sophie Ingle's goal for Chelsea against Arsenal a couple of years back. That was nominated for a Puskás Award. She didn't quite hit it as well as she did back then, but still on target. And fair play, Ukrainians, as they were on Friday evening, you know, standing up tall, defending well, throwing their bodies on the line.
It's Rachel Rowe this time, ready to take this set piece. 3 corners already for Wales, and we've not played 3 minutes. The Belgian referee has just temporarily stopped play here, stopped Rachel Rowe from taking this corner. Semkiv and Andrukiv receiving a talking to. Andrukiv scoring in Llanelli for Ukraine. It's Rowe's delivery! And Kayleigh Barton with the header. And it wasn't too far away.
No, Wales should be 1 up. That's a golden opportunity. Wales have had a couple now. You can see just the way she's coming on to it. Okay, maybe a little bit low, maybe a little bit missighted by the run by Papanichenko, the captain. But that's the difference that an in-swinger can give to you that Rachel Rose obviously put in, you know, the other two. Because Lily Woodham is out to the side now, there's only one natural left footer in the team of Gemma Evans, and you're not going to have her taking the corners when she's got such a presence in the box. So out-swingers from the other side, and a delightful in-swinger by Rachel Rowe then.
Wales unbeaten so far in Group B4, with 2 wins and a draw, and it's Ukraine who are on the attack here. And Kalinina was waiting in the middle. The best of deliveries and an easy one for Olivia Clark. Warm conditions in Poznan, and the sun in the eyes of Sophie Ingle. That doesn't stop a terrific ball for Joel. Callie Jones leading the charge. Away by Petrick. And Lois Joel, who is enjoying her first start for Wales here this evening. Gwenan.
Yeah, really excited to see how she goes, actually. I think when she's come on, especially in the first couple of games, you know, she was really bright, really lively, tidy, in possession, and picked the right options as well.
It's a ball over the top, and Clark has read it well. She's got to be careful there. That's 2 occasions where through balls have caused a few issues.
Yeah, I think it'd just be slightly concerned, just maybe a little bit flat there. I think Ingle will probably should be just a couple of yards further back as the central one of those 3.
Towards Kravchuk, who flicks it on. Wales throw. Kravchuk, who plays for Voskla in Ukraine. And Hayley Ladd with the captain's armband. A rainbow armband this evening. Become much more experienced than Hayley Ladd. And I think we said on Friday, after Ria Wilkinson had indicated that she was going to rotate the captain's armband for the next few games, that Hayley Ladd would probably be next in line, and that's proved to be the case.
Yeah, I said from the outset, I think 2 favourites for me were Hayley and Angharad, and those are the first 2 to be given the opportunity, really. I think Hayley has captained the country before under Jane Ludlow. She's captained the under-19s a couple of occasions as well. I think she's just got really calm in presence. She's really experienced, and you know, she's a consistent performer. You don't see her having a bad game often. And she drives standards particularly well.
Jones giving the ball away. First real touch for Fishlock, and that's good vision. And Holland has space here. She's also got Barton in the middle and Rowe. Decent chance that for Wales, and it all came from that Fishlock ball. As James loses out and Ukraine clear it away, but a much deeper role in midfield for Jess Fishlock this evening.
Yeah, and obviously you lose that quality with her not being able to play between the lines, but she's so good in these positions. I love seeing her playing as more of a box-to-box. Obviously she's going to sit more, but I just love seeing her as a box-to-box. She's just got the complete package, isn't she? She's obviously hugely effective as an attacker, we know that. But she brings so much tenacity, her reading, her understanding of the game, and I think there's a calmness in her partnership between herself and her Seattle Reign co-player Nanghara James as well.
Kalushuk, who made a series of good saves in Llanelli, kept Ukraine in it, particularly in the second half. Very confident coming out for catches from set pieces. Here's Clark, her opposite number. A free kick for Ukraine, a decision against Wales. Flag went up.
Yeah, we can see already in terms of Ukraine on Friday evening, they were very much more of a 2 forwards, and then the one would drop in at times when they work in partnership. When they were pressing, whereas they've set up more as a 4-1-4-1 this evening so far. Which is just posing a different question, but obviously leaves then one more of Wales's defenders free and able to be able to play the ball out from the back.
Panashenko is giving the ball away but recovers. No changes in this Ukraine team, by the way, from Friday night. Is Kalinina. Hayley Ladd struggling to get back here. Of the Chuk. And good tracking back from Kerry Holland. Bosanska. Yeah, Ukraine unchanged. We did think there would perhaps be a change at the back with the captain, Panashenko, being walked off the pitch, injured in Llanelli, but she has recovered and has been past fit, clearly. And an important figure for this Ukraine team, the most experienced player. As Bosanska tries the cross. Kalinina. Petruk. A bad cross. And calmly away by James and Ladd. And eventually, Kerry Holland. Now, Rhian Wilkinson, encouraged by the second half display, critical of the first half display in Llanelli. Nothing is ever plain sailing in qualifying. You expect these blips throughout the course of the campaign.
Yeah, and I think we've discussed, you know, a couple of occasions, haven't we, in terms of the time of the games. I mean, it's the same for both teams, but it's just a funny time of the year, and I think just the intensity and the standard of the performances maybe dropped slightly in that first game. Tiredness from the season, or...
Petruk. Back to Petruk. Cross from Andrukiv, the goal scorer in Llanelli. And Barton is isolated here. Finds Carrie Jones. It's been a scrappy few minutes here. Both teams just trying to get hold of the ball. Kerry Holland, who was bright sparks really on Friday, created a lot for Wales. Here's Joel. She's got Jones in support. Has reached Jones. Away by Petruk. Well, that was one thing we said as well on Friday. The balls into the box, the deliveries perhaps could have been better from a Welsh point of view. Some good balls at the moment, and that's a nice one through the row. Calmly away by Schmatko. It was Anhara James's vision.
Yeah, she's put a couple of great through balls through in the last couple of games, but actually the brilliant piece of play was from Kayleigh Barton with this little step over, just the awareness to know that Rachel Rowe's making the run beyond her, and just composure to step over. Close.
Both Rowe and Barton were second half changes made by Rhian Wilkinson in Llanelli. They made an impact as well. And the Welsh fans making themselves heard. Holland. And it is a Ukrainian throw. Of course, the difficulties faced in Ukraine since the Russian invasion has prompted these so-called home games for Ukraine to be played in nearby countries. That is why this game is in Poland. Towards Clark, confident catch. I've got to say, these Ukrainian players, when you consider the adversity that they must be experiencing with what's been happening in their country.
Yeah, it's unbelievable, isn't it? It puts so much into perspective. And to be honest, I think the performance Friday night showed just, you know, the heart and the desire that they have.
Barton. Tenacity. She never gives up on a lost cause. Holland. Fishlock. Ingle, who played the majority of the Jane Ludlow era for Wales in as a centre-back. James. He's getting closer here through Holland. It's patient stuff. Ladd's cross. And the amount of Welsh shirts getting forward is an encouraging sign. Holland. And the clearance eventually from Schmatko, but I think Rhian Wilkinson will be, especially compared to what happened in Llanelli early doors, will be happy with this opening quarter, certainly.
Yeah, I think she'd be happy with the improvement. there's a marked improvement in the speed, the intensity of the play, but the accuracy of the passes as well. It was a very below par performance on Friday, especially in possession, and in possession without any pressure either, which is really frustrating. And they've been far better in this opening quarter of an hour.
Gemma Evans of Manchester United. Fishlock sees James in front of her. Wales enjoying a lot of room on that right at the top of your screen, as is Kerry Holland. Surrounded by yellow shirts, but does ever so well. Brilliant skill. Barton could still fall for either Jones or Anhara. James! Always rising. But full marks to Kerry Holland.
Well, she had 4 players around her. I think one seemed to go elsewhere, but she managed to get past 3. Which is the skill originally. And then the composure. You know, just quick footwork, maybe a little bit of luck there, but again, good footwork. And she has a quick glance up. You know, she tries to change the angle on the delivery, to be fair, and then she comes out to Anhara James, maybe a little bit ambitious with the way the ball was bouncing.
Kalyushuk. The goal kickers reach row, trying to link up with Barton again, but the Ukrainian goalkeeper, like she did in Llanelli, reading a lot of those through balls very well.
Yeah, she came off the line really well on Friday. I think in that position there, if you're Rachel Rowe, there needs to be some sort of an angle on that pass through. You can't put a straight delivery through. So I think Kaylee Barton needs to help her a little bit with a run, and then if the pass isn't on, she can actually take the space herself and dribble into.
Clear to Mingle. It's only been 15 minutes, but Wales have had the lion's share of the possession, 66%, with 6 shots compared to just the solitary Ukrainian effort. Here's Ingle of Chelsea. He'll be playing under a new manager next season, Sonia Bonpastor. It's a nice ball for Barton, who's free. Tight angle. Oh, she's done well, Barton. And almost over the line. Well, Schmatko took her time with the clearance. But it all came from the perseverance of Kaylee Barton. Evans.
Well, it was a great delivery by Evans in the first place on a through ball. Again, we talked about that balance, and then Kaylee Barton, an ever-willing runner. She's looking for support. She just got her head up then quickly. Nothing available to her. She went for it herself, and I thought Wales were going to get a bit of fortune there.
Wales would have taken that all day long. No fouls, says the referee. Fishlock to Jones. Petrick. The ball, well, an aimless ball. I assume the intention was to play in Kravchuk, but it's only reached Hayley Ladd, the Wales captain for the evening. This being her 92nd cap as well. And, not too far away from being another Centurion. Here is one of those, Fishlock. Andrevchuk. Ball over the top, and it's a good one. Clark comes out, does well. Had to do well. Kravchuk was advancing.
It is a little concerning, I must say, that, you know, twice, maybe 3 times in this opening 20 minutes, a straightforward ball has got to a Ukrainian player. The Wales defence need to pick up and take a bit better responsibility of those that they're marking. There's technically only one Ukrainian forward, so just between them, that communication, the distances, just to have the responsibility of who is picking up.
And you can see later score there in Croatia, 1-0 against Kosovo. Croatia began the evening second in the group. Wales have already beaten Croatia. That was a 4-0 win. Of course, worth pointing out that the top 3 teams will be guaranteed playoff positions. But however it works out, at some point, a team like Wales is going to have to play one of the relegated A teams, so a strong team at some point.
Yeah, well, there'll be 14 teams in the second round of the playoffs. Obviously, the 7 highest ranked will likely to be, because there's 8 coming through from, and you'd expect them to beat the League C teams. So you're looking at 8 League A's in those second playoffs. Now, obviously, you know, I'm guessing here because the groups aren't finished, but the likes of Republic of Ireland, Finland, Italy, Iceland, Poland, Wales are in that mix. But the better that Wales can do in this qualifying group, the better their ranking will be as well, which hopefully, if they get to that stage, get through the first round of playoffs, will mean a better tie for them.
A more favourable draw, that's the idea anyway. Nothing ever straightforward when it comes to these championships. Is Patrick, deflected cross. Wales struggling to get it away, and the dipping shot in the end from Ovichuk was no trouble for Olivia Clark. But just a few signs that Wales have got to be careful defensively. Committed a lot of women forward, and times that can leave you short at the back.
Yes, well, with that system, when you've got a three at the back, obviously you've got your wing backs. If Wales are wanting them to push on high, to have more numbers in attack, which they are, then you're susceptible then to obviously the quick counter-attack. And especially if there's a diagonal ball, which we've seen on one occasion, so on a few occasions on Friday evening, because obviously Wales have narrowed up with those central 3.
James on the turn tried to find the run of Jones. Kalinina. Good footwork. Andrew Curve scored her 7th goal for her country in Llanelli. Ovichuk. Basanska. A poor cross at the end will be cleared by Kerry Holland.
Yeah, we've just seen again, didn't we? You know, that diagonal ball, okay. Hayley Lads come out to pressurise with a good flick on. I think it was by Kravchuk. And then the left winger of Diachuk was in because Kerry Holland hadn't quite got back into that position because of her original starting position.
Kalishuk. Here's Schmatko of Galatasaray. Ingle. Well, we've been so used to seeing her in midfield under Gemma Granger. Of course, was utilised. I mean, we've said it often enough that Sophie Ingle can pretty much play anywhere in the park, such is her talent. But in the heart of the defence this evening,
I think if you wanted to dominate the game possession-wise, as Wilkinson said that she wants to do, then you have to have 3 centre-backs that are really comfortable and competent in possession, that can break lines with their passing. And obviously, you know, the quality of Ingle, it just gives Wales another added, probably better option from the back.
Fishlock finds Holland again. Holland's got 2 players to beat again. Does find the cross though, and wins the corner.
She's done superb in those 1v1 positions, and she's so far this evening, Kerry Holland. It's a good performance on Friday evening, and yeah, she just brings such an intensity and a work rate as well. But you know, the quality has been good so far in this opening 20 minutes.
And the reason Wales have had so many corners, 4 in all, as you can see there, is in large part due to the work of Kerry Holland, who takes this set piece in towards Barton. Won the header, just didn't find the target.
Yeah, and an outswinger again, as we talked about previously, but it's lofted in a little bit, so see just the way Kerry Holland's got under it, so Kayleigh Barton's having to generate a lot of power. She times it well. I think there's just enough pressure put on it that she can't quite find the accuracy. She's had a couple of good sightings at goal early on.
Kayleigh Barton, the 19th goal for Wales from the penalty spot in Llanelli. Really good penalty it was too. A lot of pressure on that kick, and
It's overtaken me now.
Of course, every single time you score for your country, it's means so much, and it certainly means so much for Kayleigh Barton. It's another corner for Wales, perhaps, here. It is.
I think Wales were lucky there.
I think even Holland was surprised at the decision from the Belgian referee. Basanska with the tackle. And Wales got to make more of these corners, Gwenan.
Yeah, I thought so there. Just the timing. I did flick off Kerry Holland, but yeah, certainly, you know, they've won. They've had first contact on a lot of these corners so far. They just need to try and get it on target. Back down a cross goal if possible.
Holland did have the option of the short corner, which he's gone for. Rose cross towards that near post, towards where Gemma Evans was standing. Here's Rowe again. Done really well in such a tight space. Has made something out of nothing. Here's Barton, who goes down. Now what's the decision? No penalty. Well, the referee had a good look at that. Well, we'll have the benefit of a replay. There's no VAR in this competition, but you often look to the players around the incident, and there didn't seem to be too many appeals.
No, they didn't. And from first instincts, I think you could see she was just trying to play for it. To be fair, you know, the referee was very well positioned. She's lucky not to be booked there for diving, to be honest. I think the angle of where the referee is maybe has helped her in that sense.
Rachel Rowe standing over this one. Has the sort of distribution and the quality of distribution to put this into the mixer, as they say, right under the keeper's nose. Kerry Holland also over it, but this will be a Rachel Rowe effort. I'm just waiting for the referee's whistle, but Rachel Rowe just put this in that area. You can see the centre of your screen, between keeper and defence. It's a high defensive line, this. It's a high delivery in towards Ingle. Fishlock was in there too. Didn't have the pace on the delivery.
No, again, it was quite lofted. I think from where it was, it's quite hard to generate a bit of whip on that.
Back to Ladd.
So what is nice is hearing the chants of the red goal, the red wall or wild goal.
We've heard it a lot. We've heard David Ewan, Super Furry Animals. Hopefully they'll be cheering a Welsh goal sooner rather than later. But here is Petra, decent cross. Osanska took a deflection, and it will be a corner.
Yeah, it was a great delivery there, actually, a really clever header. Under pressure away from Hayley Ladd, captain this evening.
Sophie Ingle organising her defence for this corner kick. And it's Andrukiv and Kalinina who have got across to take this. Andrukiv will fancy it, the goal scorer from the game in Llanelli. Go short to Kalinina. Good play from Andrukiv, but it was Joel with the important clearance away.
Yeah, I think she's had a good opening half an hour, Lois Joel. Some good touches on the ball. I think there's one occasion I would have loved to have seen it be a little bit more selfish, really. Just believe in herself, drive forward, instead of playing the pass. But she's gone about her defensive work really well as well.
Sanska. Gone towards Kravchuk. Ingle in the way. Sophie Ingle, this her 139th cap this evening. worth reminding viewers that Wales's campaign then will continue in July. The final 2 games, Croatia away and Kosovo at home. And then later this year will be the playoffs, hopefully. They look on course for that. Here is Rowe. Surging run, this. Jones in front of her. Barton to her right. Still there for Wales with Fishlock. Looks for Barton. Cleared away by Schmatko.
She's so dangerous in those positions, isn't she, Rachel Rowe? Just driving at defenders. You don't know which way she's going to go. She's so adept with both feet. But she's just really low centre of gravity, hard to get off the ball. She just ran out of options in that instance, but that's where Wales want to be seeing her. Obviously not quite so deep picking the ball up. They want to see her a bit higher between the lines, but she's been the main playmaker for Wales in this campaign.
Has had a magnificent season up in Glasgow for Rangers. Jones trying to find a way through. Cross does come in towards Barton, who collided with the keeper. I think the keeper did enough there. Joel keeps it in play. Here's Evans. A heavy touch from James means another corner for Wales, and it's about time Wales take advantage of these chances that they keep getting.
It's just about gambling in those positions. As a forward player, always thinking that the defender's going to miss the ball, and being at that, you've just seen Lowestoft just hesitate.
Rachel Rowe this time with the corner for Wales. It's an in-swinger. Kalanina with the header away, comes back to Holland. Evans. I think she was in 2 minds there, Gemma Evans, to fully commit to the header.
I'm not sure if there was a call maybe from Kayleigh Barton, but what I would say is Gemma Evans can see the ball clearly because she's facing towards the goal, whereas Kayleigh Barton's coming the other side. So she just needs to take responsibility there and go clean through and get everything.
Good play from Joel. Kalanina wins it back. Off the chuck. Jones. I think she felt that Holland was further forward than she actually was. Barton was in there too.
Yeah, that's the experience, I think, at times, to the willingness to want to attack constantly, but actually just having a bit of control, a bit of experience to just slow the game down, just realise where you are, that you haven't got many numbers up in support, and just keep possession, keep the momentum.
We said on Friday how much more Carrie Jones has still got to give for Wales. She's a player of real talent and real promise. We've seen glimpses of that in a Welsh shirt.
There's a couple of fouls against Angharad James this evening. Yeah, in terms of Carrie Jones, well, she's playing in a position that's really favoured to her in between those lines, a bit more freedom this evening. So I wanted to see her really take the game by the scruff of the neck.
Clark out towards Evans.
You could just see the Ukraine when they're defending in that 4-1-4-1, but actually when they're attacking.
The keeper came out and it's resulted in a corner kick. Well, a bit of miscommunication there between the captain of Panashenko and goalkeeper Kalushuk.
Yeah, and that's why, in my opinion, there's nothing wrong with turning a team around a couple of occasions, going long, being direct, playing into those spaces.
Rachel Rowe of Rangers. And it's another dangerous delivery, although the referee has seen a push, courtesy of Kayleigh Barton. It's been encouraging though, Gwenan, at times. Wales on Friday had 15 attempts on goal in the whole of the match. Tonight they've already had, what, 10 in half an hour or so.
Yeah, and it's just about adding that clinical edge, as we've talked about for a good few years now. In those tighter games, we know Wales can do it when they're maybe playing weaker opposition, but in these types of games, which is the type of team that you'll be coming up against in a playoff to reach a major tournament. Can they just be a bit more clinical and not need so many chances to be putting teams away?
I feel if Wales were to get one, just settle down any nerves that may linger there. If they could get one, then more would follow, but Ukraine might feel the same way. This is a terrific run from Ovdachuk towards Kalinina! Ukraine lead! Counter-attacking football that has undone Wales. Kalinina with the simplest of finishes, but it all came from the work of Ovdachuk, and it's Ukraine 1, Wales 0.
And that is a superb team goal by Ukraine. Just the movement, the quick passing, as you said, the counter-attacking, but the unselfishness on a couple of occasions as well, the unselfishness of the runs off the ball, and then to step over and an easy finish. You know, mentioned earlier that Wales were playing up against a 4-3-3 when Ukraine attacking. I think they've identified the spaces because of the wing backs. Just see England trying to come across, the unselfishness then, and Kalinina, who's a thorn in the Wales side all evening, on Friday has punished Wales.
Her 8th goal for her country, and what is her 64th international cap. Kalinina makes it 1-0.
Yeah, in possession, Ukraine are playing with the 3 forwards, and they've obviously identified again from Friday the fact that Wales's wing backs are playing so high that there's huge spaces, especially on the transition when they play quickly. We've seen it on a couple of occasions, and Wales have been punished for it.
Build up from Evans to Carrie Jones. Well, that's one thing Ukraine have done well as well in those wide positions, surrounding those wide players. Often Kerry Holland, on this occasion Carrie Jones.
Yeah, I think the distances within the system help with that, but what's impressive to me is the ability, the desire, the drive from especially their wingers and their midfielders to get into the box, get those numbers attacking, as we could see, and maybe the same want to get back in defensive positions for Wales wasn't quite there.
Well, you mentioned the need to be clinical. There's a free kick here. It was Patrick involved, but the need to be clinical from a Welsh point of view, well, Ukraine showed a real clinical edge with that counter-attack there and have the lead because of it.
Well, it's their first proper attempt, isn't it? And as with Friday evening, they've taken it.
Jess Fishlock with the high boot, according to the referee.
Well, if that's
in fact, it's not a free kick at all, it's a drop ball, so I think a referee had stopped it possibly for a head injury then.
Well, Jess isn't the tallest of players, and her leg isn't up above her hip there, so anyway.
And I do not doubt that if Jess Fishlock was going to kick you in the head, you would know about it. But it was a drop ball, and Wales have got to regroup here, Gwenan, and, you know, we were being very positive about this performance so far. There have been positives. Wales came out of the starting blocks really quickly, but they find themselves behind.
Yeah, well, that first 5 minutes, it was an onslaught from Wales, wasn't it? And then you could just see Ukraine just starting to settle back into the game. Wales certainly been on top, but there's always been those warning signs, as I mentioned earlier, about the diagonal balls within those spaces that are vacated by those full-backs. It was something that they were, well, I think they missed quite a few opportunities on Friday, but they've obviously they've done their research, looked at the tapes, they've played a different system to try and play to their strengths against Wales's weaknesses, and it's paid off so far.
Ladd wins the throw. Holland wants to take it quickly. Not from the right place, according to the referee, and see what Kerry Holland thinks of that. Rules are rules. Jones. Hayley Ladd. Ball over the top for Barton. well, Wales find themselves in a similar sort of position than they did on Friday night at this stage of the game. Although the half-time team talk, if indeed it stays like this, you would feel would be slightly different, because Wales have offered a lot going forward. It's a throw to Ukraine, ranked 34 in the world. They've only reached one major tournament, which is very much the aim for Rhian Wilkinson and for Wales, just to get to a major finals. That major finals was back in 2009, the Euros in Finland. Captain Panashenko played in that tournament.
Well, they have only reached one, but to credit to them, they've come mightily close on a number of occasions. They reached the playoffs for the Euros on 3 different occasions, other occasions. Reached the playoffs of the World Cup on 3 occasions. Okay, yeah, they haven't been successful, only the once have they been successful, but if you compare them with Wales, only once have they reached those playoff positions. So they're always there and thereabouts. They've got that know-how, they've got that knack, they're industrious, they're disciplined. And that's why, you know, as we're seeing, they're proven to be hard to break down, difficult to beat.
Billy Barton winning that free kick. Hasn't been a dirty game, but that was a particular high boot on Barton. And the referee has penalised Wales, much to the confusion of Gemma Evans there. She felt there was possibly a handball going on, but
no, there's an offside. I think Lois Joel was coming back from an offside position.
Will be Panashenko, the captain. As things stand, Wales will drop third in the group if indeed it stays like this. Of course, Croatia beating Kosovo currently. And as we were saying before, the higher you finish, the idea being the more favourable the playoff. At least that's the theory.
Yeah, if Wales finish in third, then they'll face a playoff against a team that's finished either first or some of the best place, second places within Group B. Now you're talking about teams then of the likes of Switzerland, who Wales lost to in the World Cup playoff. There's some good sides in League B, so they want to make sure that they finish as high as they possibly can, and they are favourites to finish first and should be finishing first in the group.
Semi-finals and finals will both be 2 legs in these playoffs. Wales are going to get there first. Currently 1-0 down here. It's Ukraine who've earned the right to protect this lead, having taken their chance. That's an excellent cross from Petrick. Surging ball in towards both Kalinina and Kravchuk. And this is one for Barton to chase. Panashenko to Schmatko. Yeah, Ukraine have grown in confidence since that goal, you feel. In terms of chances, Wales on top, but there's only one stat that matters at the end of the day. And credit to Kalinina for taking that chance.
Oh, it was a superbly well-worked goal from a Ukrainian perspective. As you said, frustrating in terms of Wales, but there is only one stat that's important. It's how much of the ball you see and how many opportunities you create. If you're not, you know, if those opportunities aren't on target, at least working the goalkeeper, then you're never going to have a chance of winning.
Over the top of Dachuk and Olivia Clark. There's a column on the BBC Sport Wales website worth reading, worth checking out. Of course, the other regular goalkeeper that we've been used to seeing over the years, Laura Sullivan, leaving the squad for personal reasons this week. And that has meant Georgia Walters coming into the group. She is on the bench tonight. Play we haven't seen in a while. I think it was February 2022 against the Republic of Ireland in the Pinatar Cup, the last occasion. for Wales. So another option at some point for Rian Wilkinson, maybe.
Yeah, it's great to see Georgia back in and have an opportunity. I wouldn't be surprised to see the likes of someone like Olivia Francis, who's come off a superb season in the youth ranks, Man United. Obviously, the captain of the Wales under-19 team that have done really well of late as well. And I just think with that, when you're that age, obviously you're nervous coming into a senior environment, want to impress, but you actually have no fear because you just want to prove that you deserve to be in that environment. Just seem to be a bit more confident, less cautious, and maybe when you get a little bit more older and experienced.
That's a foul on Joel by Patrick, who scored a penalty against Kosovo earlier in this group. Ukrainian win against Kosovo. And this is one for Rachel Rowe, right-footed player on the left here. Out-swinging delivery incoming. It's Kelly Holland instead. Actually, it would be an in-swinger, wouldn't it?
Yeah, right-footed.
Instead is Kerry Holland, more floated delivery this time. Keeper's backtracking, but went unchallenged. And a relatively straightforward catch for Kaliashuk.
Yes, quite close to Kaliashuk there, but I just want to see a little bit more desire from the Wales players to actually get, get on the score sheet. You've got to want to make those runs, even if you're not going to go to actually get on the end of it, that you're making a run to take a defender across that creates space for somebody else. Oh, Gemma Evans, probably the only one that's close to it. Nobody else seems really interested to bust a gut, be at 100%.
Well, it was an awkward fall for the Ukrainian keeper. And you can see that she's just holding her right ankle. Discomfort on the landing there. And as we said on Friday night as well, I think she's commanded her goal relatively well. We saw a few occasions, particularly on Friday, where she'd come out and punch it and really get distance on the punch as well as her catching. This will be a worry for the manager, Volodymyr Piatenko.
I think she'll be okay. I think that, as I said on Friday, there's a couple of occasions, just in terms of playing the game these days, just biting into the clock a little bit, taking the time, taking the sting out of the game at crucial moments.
Well, we're over the added minute. There'll be a few more seconds added on because of that stoppage. But it's advantage Ukraine at the moment. Wales have it all to do in the second half. Ingles header away by Kerry Holland. He'll switch wings here. Back in towards Ingle. Volleyed up towards Kaylee Barton. Panashenko. Well, it will be interesting to be a fly on the wall in the Welsh dressing room. A different sort of team talk, I'd imagine, to the one that we saw on Friday, even though the scoreline is very much the same as it was then.
Well, I have been impressed with Wilkinson, is her ability to be able to see things, and she's not afraid to change things. So I don't think she's going to shy away from any big decisions that need to be taken.
Well, Wales won't have that free kick because it is half-time. Kalanina and her goal, the difference between the two teams. A counter-attacking goal, which was an excellent finish in the end. Wales have it all to do. At half-time, it's Ukraine 1, Wales 0.
Well, Wales started well, didn't they? Plenty of possession, they were patient, they had their opportunities. But with so many players pressing, they would always be exposed on the counter. And how is this for a Ukrainian goal? Well worked, Kalinina finding the back of the net, and Wales trail by 1-0. So let's have a little look then at the story of the half. Here they are, the stats for you. Wales dominating possession. Shots on target as well, but unfortunately they have nothing to show for it at half-time, and they trail by 1-0. Time for me to introduce my guests once again. If you're just joining us here on BBC One Wales, Katie Sherwood, Helen Ward, good to see you both. Katie, as I mentioned there, the stats in Wales' favour, but they have nothing to show for it after 45 minutes.
Yeah, we've dominated all over the pitch. You see that in possession, touches in box, shots on target, shots on goal. But again, it's just haven't been clinical enough, and we haven't converted that possession into goals. And then we've been hit by a counter-attack and we've been punished by a fantastic team goal.
You must be so frustrated, Helen, as a striker yourself, watching these opportunities, and they're just not taking them.
Yeah, it's the one on target that's the worst stat. You know, two on target in that first half with some really good opportunities, you have to say, but just doesn't seem to be that fluidity about the team that we saw in those opening 2 games. I'm not quite sure what's missing.
OK, well, let's have a look then at some of those Welsh opportunities. Talk us through them, Katie.
Well, I think what's most pleasing is the variety of play, you know, whether it's a direct ball from the back or it's working the ball through the unit. But again, it's just that clinical edge in the box where we're just not able to capitalise on. I think at times our delivery have been poor and we haven't been able to beat the front man. But again, it's just that clinicalness around the box. We keep the ball alive, but who is busting a gut to get on the end of that ball and put Ukraine under pressure? I think sometimes the delivery, they've been the same type of delivery, a lofted ball, which then doesn't generate enough power for the strikers to get that ball on target.
Yeah, definitely. I think this is where we've come closest. Obviously, nearly an own goal there, but a good run from Kaylee in behind, like we talked about before the game. But there's just something not quite ticking, is there, that results in us not being able to hit the target. But the good thing is there are more players getting in and around the box, which we didn't see on Friday, but it's just now taking that next step to convert those chances.
Do you think they're tired at all? Because it is June, and you've spoken before about June being a difficult camp, isn't it?
It is, and, you know, add to the travelling, you know, it's 10 days, but in that time you've got to get over to Poland to play, and it's not an excuse. These players have done it so many times, but it does take it out of you, and the time of season, there's lots of little things that add up, and of course we can't use it as an excuse, and the players and the staff won't use it as an excuse, but it is a factor that comes into play.
We'll get onto the goal in a moment, but let's talk about the Welsh defence, because it's something that Rhian Wilkinson has highlighted in the past few weeks. It's an area of concern for Wales, which it hasn't been in the past.
Yeah, so we've opted to go with the 3 central defenders, but when you play this system, you can be vulnerable to a counter-attack, and especially if your team don't recover well enough to give you that support out wide, and then your central defenders are being dragged into space that they don't want to go to. It's that ball over the top again and just engaging the player with the ball.
What about Sophie Ingle? Sorry, Helen. What about Sophie Ingle being back in that defensive line? Has she made a difference?
You wouldn't say so far, and I don't think that's not a slight against Sophie. I think it's just the Ukrainian front line are doing quite well, where they're dropping in at times and then stretching, and I think we've seen it with Sophie and Gemma, where they're not quite sure whether to go with that player, and then that leaves the gap in behind, and sometimes they're caught in no man's land, and that really hurts the team. Let's
have a look then. Once again, I'm sorry to do this to you. At that goal, once again, it is a lovely goal from a Ukrainian point of view, isn't it?
Yeah, we give the ball away, but that's not the problem. The problem is the recovery here. We have plenty of opportunity to recover. There's players behind the ball, but we just do not get back quick enough to recover. You can see Gemma Evans, she was the player who stepped out initially. She's been caught out of position, but that is great forward counter-attack play.
It is. You have to give Ukraine credit first and foremost, but it ends up being a 4v3, and the back 3 can't be exposed like that. It's not going to work. You know, they're 3 incredibly gifted players, more than capable of defending, but if you put 4 players against any 3 defenders, it's not going to go in your favour. So I think the midfield have to work harder there to get back, as Katie said, and you know, that's probably the most disappointing thing, because from a Welsh team, you don't expect to see a lack of reaction like that.
Yeah, Ukraine were causing Wales problems, weren't they, on Friday night in that midfield, weren't they?
Yeah, and it's just a direct ball over the top. Sometimes our back 3, they're very flat, and the space in behind, they're able just one ball over the top. But like Hal said, it's about the recovery. You know, other wing backs, it's a tough job for them, because we're expecting them to get forward, but they've got to recover. But it's those 2 central midfielders, they are the protection. So it's all about the recovery.
Let's try and look at some positives, because that combination between Jess Fishlock, who's finding Kerry Holland on that right-hand side, she's done it a couple of times, and Kerry Holland is looking quite busy on that right-hand side.
Yeah, I think she's probably been the bright spark for Wales. I think her tenacity, but also her ability on the ball. You know, seen her beat her fullback on numerous occasions and get balls into the box. And, you know, here she's got 3 defenders around her. She looks like she's got absolutely no hope. Really good feet, good play. just wanted her to cut it back. I think it was Jess Fishlock that was in some space, couldn't quite see it on that angle, but there was an angle for her to cut it back. Opted for a chip cross, which becomes a 50-50, and it's, you know, almost always going to be in favour of the defenders.
It'll be interesting to see what happens in the second half. Will it be more of the same, or do you expect changes?
Well, we've seen Wilkinson make changes. It's trying to get that balance, isn't it? Because at the moment, the team can't get into any flow or rhythm. You want it to have a little bit of consistency, but if things are not working, she might make changes again.
And one person we might see in that defence, Lily Woodham. I wonder, will she be making an appearance in the second half? Yes, there she is. She, of course, has made the move to the United States, playing with Seattle Reign with Jess Fishlock and Angharad James. So how is she enjoying life over the pond? Alex Richards, our reporter, has been finding out.
It's just something I couldn't turn down, and I was super excited. I think I would have gone to America. I just didn't know at what point in my career that would have kind of happened. And yeah, luckily for me, I spoke to Jess and Z, her wife, and yeah, they helped me out a lot, and I've got them to thank, and my agent, and yeah, the Reign at the club. Yeah, it all came together.
And is it nice having the three of you, Jess and Angharad, all there, familiar faces?
Yeah, it's been a lot easier. I think it's taken a lot of nerves that I had away, and settling in. I'm sat next to Jess in the changing room, so I've had her there with me. I've had obviously Haz, who's been there before, and they're just, yeah, both helping me, which has been nice.
Yeah, how has it been settling in? Because I imagine it's a completely different lifestyle change.
It is. Driving on the other side of the road was tough. At first, I drove on the wrong side twice, so I was learning that along the way, and then, yeah, it's just different. I think everyone's been super welcoming there, so that was easy to kind of settle into the team. Everyone made me feel part of it from day one, so yeah, it was good.
And for you as a person, I mean, when I spoke to you previously, we spoke about the fact when you were 17, you moved away to play football.
Yeah.
You seem like somebody that is, you know, happy to take a risk and happy to really push yourself out of your comfort zone.
I think it's just football. I enjoy it, and I obviously want to play at the best level I possibly can in my career, and I'm still only young, ish. So yeah, just kind of trying to push myself early on, so I really stick in, and obviously the NWSL is an amazing league to start and be a part of, so yeah, it's incredible. I think the fans at Seattle are obviously amazing, and recently we played Portland, which is a derby out there, and that was insane to kind of witness and be a part of full stadium, and yeah, the chants and everything going on, so yeah. Fireworks were going off, and yeah, it was an incredible kind of thing to take in for me.
Yeah, it's been quite the move for Lily Woodham. A word of advice, never ever accept a lift from Lily Woodham. Twice on the wrong side of the road. No, thank you very much. It has been, though, a huge move for her, hasn't it, personally? And she says that she's learning now from the best. And that's what's happening, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think every young girl, when we started playing football, America was the place to go. That's the place, you know, their dreams were made of out in America, and she's living that dream. And it just shows how ambitious she is. But she's also with a great manager, Laura Harvey. She is an elite manager, and she's with elite players, and that's only going to add to your game. You know, the training sessions, the competition you're coming up against. She's really put herself out of her comfort zone. It's going to take her a while to settle in, but what a great opportunity for her. Yeah,
it can be a huge move when you're young-ish, as she said herself. She is very young. But you remember her as a 14-year-old coming into Wales camp.
Yeah, we had a training match. I think it was against Reading, just a sort of in-house friendly, and she came on the pitch and absolutely tore it apart. And I said to one of the Reading players, I said, "You do realise you've just been taken to bits by a 14-year-old?" And they were like, "Wow!" And you know, she had a little bit of time away from the squad. She made some decisions that maybe she wouldn't do if she was given the chance again. But she's worked really hard to get herself back into the fold, and then become, you know, a predominant starter in this squad. And her talent's been there for all to see, but her character and her energy, the way she is about the camp, she's a really popular member of the team. She's got a bit of an edge about her. She's, you know, cheeky. You can kind of see that, a little bit dopey, as we heard, but she's a really good kid. She is still very young, whatever she says, and she's got the world at her feet, but it will take time for her to get used to, particularly the travelling. I think maybe that's what we've seen a bit this week, is maybe a bit of tiredness from that travelling to and from the States, but yeah, she's got everything to play for. She's got the world at her feet, and I'm really excited to see her journey.
Yeah, that's a really interesting point, actually, because somebody like Angharad James, Jess Fishlock, they are used to the demands of being in an international camp and all the travel back and forth to their club. But it is something that Lily Woodham is going to have to get used to.
Yeah, I think mentally and physically, the demand that it has on you, especially this part of the season, you know, going from different time zones as well, and then it's straight onto the training ground. There's travel within this campaign, so it's a lot. I'm sure that the reason why she hasn't been selected is due to fatigue. I think we might see her in this second half. I think she'll add, you know, those deliveries, her ability and her engine to get up and down in that wing-back role. But like Helen said, she's a star in the making.
When you talk about that fatigue, are we seeing a couple of the players affected here? Somebody like possibly Rhiannon Roberts as well. She plays for Real Betis, and this season is still ongoing. You were saying they've got Barcelona next weekend, have they?
Yeah, she's away to Barcelona, which will be a really exciting one for her. But yeah, I think she started pre-season early July last year, so she's almost a year without a break. And that's difficult for players. And, you know, even the girls that haven't been playing, it's difficult to then find that rhythm. It's the balance now is so difficult. The demands we were talking earlier, the demands of football now in the women's game are so much higher and take so much more toll on your body. It's about finding that balance, not having too many games, but also being in a rhythm and that feeling of playing games. There's nothing like it. You can do all the training you want, but unless you're playing regular football, it can be really difficult.
Well, as we know, Wales are behind 1-0 at half-time. I'm just going to show you the table and how things stand at the moment, because Croatia are a goal ahead against Kosovo. So as you can see at the table, as things stand, if things stay like they are now, Croatia will go top, Ukraine second, Wales third. Now, of course, the top three qualify for the playoffs, but being top of the group means you get a more favourable draw, and it's all about trying to avoid the top teams, isn't it? So it is important, despite the top three going through, that Wales aim for that top spot, isn't it?
It's a big 45 minutes ahead. I think you look at Friday's game, we said it was points dropped. They have to go and win the game now, because that is not a favourable position to be in. We want to be top in this group. We expect this team to top this group, so we have to turn it around.
And as we have seen from Ukraine, Friday night, they can, well, a goal can galvanise them. Simon and Gwennan have been talking, obviously, about what's going on in their country, and that has brought them together as a squad. And it's going to be difficult for Wales now, isn't it, despite the opportunities to get that breakthrough?
It will be, and it's quite an open game as well. Like we're saying about the Wales chances, but Ukraine have got in behind a couple of times, as we've seen, and obviously they took their goals superbly well. So they're no mugs. They do take their chances when they come about. 2 really good finishes in the 2 games we've seen. So Wales have to be aware of that they can't just go gung-ho. They have to make their chances count. But they also have to be aware of protecting that back three, because we've seen a couple of times that can really cost them.
We're thinking we might see Lily Woodham. Anybody else that you would like to see come on?
Well, we've seen Charlie Escort come on in that wing-back position. Ella Powell. Will Sophie go back into that midfield? Who knows? I think that Wilkinson has a lot of options. It just depends on what she's seen in training and who she thinks can come on and make an impact.
Anybody for you, Helen?
Could potentially see a younger player come in, which would be interesting. Maybe take the pressure off those that are feeling it a bit more, the more experienced, but yeah, who knows? Well,
as you can see, they've gone a little early over in Poland, so back we go to Gwennan and Simon.
Yes, thank you, Catherine. A big second half ahead for Wales. I think they'll be looking to start the second half as they did the first. They came out of the starting blocks really quickly and had a number of chances in those opening few minutes.
Yeah, they did, and it was the perfect start without the goal, obviously. Just trying to get their confidence, momentum into the game. Just not being able to take those opportunities, obviously the disappointing factor.
No changes made by Rhiannon Wilkinson for this second half. We did see a couple of changes, didn't we, at half-time on Friday, but she feels the need for this 11 to carry on as they are doing. Here's Fishlock getting forward. Almost on the turn was Rachel Rowe. It's the first time that we've seen Fishlock join the attacking three.
Yeah, I think if you just analyse the positions of the Ukrainians when they're defending, watch now, they've got, you know, one up top a bit dominantly, and they're really trying to push Wales wide and make sure that they don't play through the middle, so that the likes of Fishlock and Rowe can't get on the ball. Just look at that front three, in a sense, of the two drop in, or they've come in from the wing. It's really congested in that central corridor, which is where Wales are finding it more difficult. On the one or two occasions where Wales have played the ball quickly and come back that way, as we've just seen them with Fishlock being able to come get on it, Wales have had a bit more joy.
Ladd. Wearing the captain's armband. Ingle, former captain. Evans. Fishlock, they've stuck to Fishlock like glue. The Ukrainian midfielders, giving them much room at all. That's a nice ball for Holland. Good first touch as well. And Bosanska hit the bar, hit the post. It's still in for Joel. But it hit the upright. And it came after a great first touch from Kerry Holland. Fishlock. Well, Wales will be encouraged by the start of the second half, and Kerry Holland in particular.
Yeah, and again, just as Ukraine are a lot narrow, have to have the ability to transfer and switch that ball quickly.
Rachel Rowe. Extra footing. James. Ladd. Ball towards Barton. Joel's got it. Oh, just across the face of goal, and Holland trying to get on the end of it. It's a delivery that caught everyone by surprise. Just rolled across that goal line almost. Holland again. Oh, what a contest between her and Bosanska. Ladd. Ingle. It's got to be the longest public address announcement I think I've ever heard. He's reading the phone directory. Here's Fishlock. Ingle. Nice run from Rowe. Well, it's been a bright start, and I think that's all that Rhian Wilkinson was looking for.
Yeah, we just see this opportunity again. It's good play from Hayley Ladd, just taking it back in, and Lowe's job as well to keep it in. But again, look, just static movements. There's no desire to really want to get in those positions. And as I've mentioned before, even if you've got absolutely zero chance of getting on the ball, you still make that movement, an unselfish run, to create space for others, or to take the attention away from one of the defenders, the goalkeeper.
He's still going on the PA.
He's reading from a script, I think.
Can Wales change the script here with Joel? Barton waiting in the middle. Patrick to beat. Across towards Barton. Went to ground. And here's Holland. Looking for the 1-2 with James. Well, it's Hayley Ladd who keeps it going. Evans. Jones. Ladd again. Well, they're all piling forward here for Wales. Holland up against Bosanska. This is patient build-up stuff from Wales. And is this a sign of things to come? Ukraine sitting back. Fishlock trying to find Rowe. Did well to keep it in. And it's better from Wales. There's intention, and that's got the crowd going too.
I'd love to have seen Fishlock just pull the trigger there. Just in that more advanced position. I think at the minute, there's a lot of, that even in that last attacking play, all of the plays in front of the Ukrainian defence, which is comfortable for them to defend against. If there's a little bit more movement, stretching in behind, it'll create more gaps then. In those little gaps between the units, it'll be more difficult if Wales can play the ball around quicker then.
Sophie Ingle of Chelsea, Ladd of Manchester United. Rowe on the turn. Rowe, who was among the goals earlier in the campaign, scored 2 out in Kosovo. Scored one of the 4 against Croatia as well.
Yeah, just noticing then in that last clip that Ukraine dropping back into a defensive 5 now. So even more defensive bodies in the way for them trying to contain the Wales attack.
Tenacious tackle from Anhara James. Of course, wore the captain's armband against Llanelli. I think perhaps we in the media have made more of the captaincy than perhaps Rhian Wilkinson has. I think Rhian Wilkinson doesn't see it as so much of a big issue at the moment. Is quite happy for it to rotate after Sophie Ingle relinquished the armband.
I think she said, you know, she respects the position too much to just name someone because of the pressure of having to do that. And I quite like that. I think, as you said, you know, when you've got a new manager coming in, they want their identity, their stamp on things, and they want to find the right person. That's the good link and go between the players on themselves.
Fishlock, who's won the captaincy in the past, has tried to find a way through this Ukrainian defence. Away by Petrick, only as far as Ingle. Described as selfless by Rhian Wilkinson for her decision to relinquish the captaincy. I think we see that in her play as well. Times when maybe she could shoot, then she always looks to bring in another player in play. Such an important player for Wales still. Here's Rowe. Evans. Well, Ukraine sitting back here. Can Wales take advantage towards Holland? Quite surprised to see Ukraine sitting as deep as this. So with still quite a bit of the game left, Carrie Jones wins the corner.
Yeah, they've dropped into that back 5 now, haven't they, when they're defending, so just putting a bit more pressure on themselves, changing that. They obviously feel it's, I don't know, there's something that they want to adopt, sorry, but that should then give Wales an added player to join into the attack, so they should have an advantage.
Floated corner, could reach Rowe. Here's Joel. First time delivery too close to the goalkeeper. Wasn't perhaps wide enough to wrap the foot around it to get that whip on the ball. Rachel Rowe, chased by Kalinina. And the crossfield ball doesn't reach Fishlock. Well, how long before Rhian Wilkinson decides to change the pack? You've seen that she's not afraid to make bold decisions and bold changes.
No, and I think she's going to have to adopt it, because obviously Ukraine have put that extra defender back. And even then, you're just seeing, at one point then, there were 6 Wales players behind the ball. Well, obviously they need to push those players higher up to have an effect as they get on the score sheet.
Holland wins the throw. Well, it's going to be a long run-up from Kerry Holland here. Although she goes short instead to Rachel Rowe. James. Sophie Ingle. This 139th cap. Hayley Ladd winning a 92nd. And here's Kerry Holland. James, just didn't quite make it to Fishlock. It's still there for Wales. And lots of intricate passing. Have they got that killer ball in them? Just needs an Anhara James or a Jess Fishlock now to make that killer pass, you feel. Here's Holland, deflected cross.
I'll be honest, it needs more movement. I just think that the Wales players are quite static at times. They're happy to see the ball go backwards, which is fine, because they need to be patient. But as I said, everything is in front of the Ukrainian defence. They've dropped a lot deeper, which obviously makes it harder. But the movement needs to be created, creating spaces and gaps and pulling Ukrainian players out of positions.
Joel intercepts Kalinina's pass. And now looks for Holland. Basanska with the clearance. Fishlock. Wide position here up against Andrukev. Well, it seems since we started this second half that pretty much all the play has been in this Ukrainian half. Wales have just got to take that next step before the games in July, of course, to finish this group. It's a test against Croatia away from home, and then Kosovo at home. And then we hope the playoffs later on in the year. I think after the first two games, Gwen, and the 10 goals, none conceded, I think we were all sort of rubbing our hands a bit and thinking, well, Ream Wilkinson has got this all sorted out. It's all very easy at the moment, but it's been a real test, these two games against Ukraine.
Yeah, and I think we all expected a more difficult test from, well, I certainly did, from the games that they played previously. I'll be honest, I thought Croatia were really poor when they didn't offer anything in attack against Wales, which was a surprise. But I think a majority of people will be surprised with just maybe how difficult Ukraine have been, how organised and how effective they've been actually in their system of play.
Sophie Ingle. Lads just looking up. She did have Holland to her right. Opted for Ingle again. Gemma Evans pushing forward this time. Good intention to try and get it through to Kaylee Barton, but there was an offside flag against the Charlton striker. Semkev, who got there first. Only 19 years of age, this her 12th cap. Good youth, a good mix of youth and experience in this Ukrainian team. Rachel Rowe trying to chase down the ball here. Comes out to Basanska. Ladd bringing it down to Fishlock. Here's Kalinina. Good interception. Now what can Wales do from here? Rowe has got space and Holland to her right. Fishlock in the middle. Still with Holland. James. Wales have got players overlapping, and one of them is Lewis Joel. To cross. Fishlock. Oh, Ukraine really sitting back now. Ladd. Punched clear by the goalkeeper for a corner. It wasn't quite a cross or a shot from Ladd, but it was certainly intended for the direction of Kaylee Barton.
Yeah, she's been a presence this year, a handful. Had a couple of sightings early on with those headers. She'd be really disappointed, missed the one from that in-swinging Rachel Rowe corner.
No risks being taken by the goalkeeper there, Kalyashuk. Remains rooted on a line here. In swinging corner, Ladd went in there. It could still fall for Holland, and there are plenty of red shirts to aim for. James, Ingle. In from Lois Joel. Carrie Jones. Oh, just couldn't keep it in. And what looked like a really promising spell of play for Wales has come to nothing.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I question Ingle's decision to go backwards there. I understand keeping the ball going. But I just think, just keep the pressure up. Just maybe a little ball around the corner. You'd be expecting to see changes soon. I'd be surprised not to see changes in the next 5 minutes, if I'm honest.
Kalinina beaten for the header. Yeah, just a bit of a spark, maybe. You know, we've seen in the past the likes of Sophia Morgan come on and just for raw pace more than anything, just add an injection of excitement to the game.
Yeah, pace, movement. It was just something different. You know, I think a lot of the
Hold your thought, Gwenna, because here's Kayleigh Barton. Could go out for a corner here. It does, and maybe we'll get that excitement.
Well, I think you saved me because I couldn't get my words out anyway. But yeah, I just think that there's a lot of opportunities for players in these games which we maybe haven't seen previously under past managers, and I think a few of them have put their hands up. I still think Wilkinson's not sure on her best team. That gives more opportunities then for those coming off the bench.
It's past the midway stage of the group now, with 2 games remaining, as Holland takes this corner kick. Ingles free, and it was a free header. Well, it was the right option, perhaps, to put it back across the face of goal. But it was well spotted from Kerry Holland. And there seems to be some activity. Yeah, it's on the Ukrainian bench, first and foremost, and it's a change. Ulashenko, who did come on into the athlete, replacing Kravchuk. Ulashenko plays for Nice in France, 20 years of age. This her 18th cap. So an offensive change from Ukraine when we've seen very little forward play from Ukraine in this second half.
No, obviously a real threat on the counter. To have that many caps at that age says a lot. They're just trying to stretch the pitch on occasions and pin a few of the Wales players back.
Kerry Holland. Well, she's created so much for Wales so far. Fishlock! Didn't sit down nicely for her, tried to bring it down on her chest.
Yeah, and we've seen Fishlock in a more higher position now because obviously Ukraine have put more players back. It just gives her the licence, and Cara James will be more deep line, but obviously because they've dropped so deep as well.
Crossing towards Joel and Barton. Obdachuk and Joel go shoulder to shoulder. Real education this for Lewis Joel. First start for Wales, and she will be pleased individually with her performance on what is her 4th cap.
Yeah, I think especially the first half an hour, I thought she played really well. She's struggled a bit since then.
Towards Lushchenko. First real touch for her. And this is where Wales have to be careful. So many players committed forward.
They just gamble as well. If you watch the Ukrainians, they always presume that their forward is going to get in possession of the ball, and then they're in more advanced numbers. And actually, at times, there's been a bit of an overload where they've had the numerical advantage.
Free kick, Ukraine. And it's Ovdachuk who went down from Rowe's challenge. Talk about Rachel Rowe, the season she's had up in Scotland. Gwenan called it she's called it the season of her life, really.
Yeah, really pleasing to see, isn't it? You know, we've all seen just how good she's been for Wales in many different positions. Fair play to her as well. And put the team first, but I think she's playing in a position which is more suited, a preferred position for her now, playing just off that striker, having that licence to roam somewhere similar to where she's been playing for Rangers. And you've only got to have a couple of looks at the highlights of a couple of her goals. You know, she's been in superb form, and she's carried that through to the national team as well.
A few sore throats in the morning, I think. They've done their job, the Welsh fans. Representatives there, Cardiff Met, we saw flags from all across Wales supporting Rhian Wilkinson's team, and how we would dearly love to see that sort of support at a major tournament, possibly in Switzerland next year. A lot of football to be played potentially between now and then. It would seem poetic, wouldn't it, Switzerland, after the disappointment of the World Cup playoff And there is activity, you can see just behind Rachel Rowe on your screen there. There are going to be changes, Gwenan.
Yeah, and as I said, I'm not surprised at all. I was expecting maybe a little bit earlier. Looks like it's Mary McAteer, Lily Woodham. From what we can see, just maybe a bit more balance with that natural left footer with Woodham. And McAteer's movement.
Both players started internationally. McAteer, that was her first start for Sunderland, teenager, or 20-year-old. She was a teenager, but recently turned 20. And this would be her 4th cap if she does come on. Wales have got the opportunity to do that yet. It's going to be Petrick to take this throw. And here come the changes. And the first is Carrie Jones coming off. Quiet evening for Carrie Jones.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I think she was one of the first names that would have been taken off. Things haven't quite fallen for her, maybe not seen the ball as much as she would have liked, not had the impact that she was hoping to have.
Mary McAteer of Sunderland, Lily Woodham replacing Lois Joel. Woodham, as Katrin was saying during the break, playing out in Seattle. Been a real education for her. Kalinina. Well, that's the first time that Ukraine have managed to get in the Welsh box in the second half. It's taken till 68 minutes. And that is an indication of how much Wales have dominated the play. But it's all about that scoreline. By Petrick.
Just trying to have a look at where the players are playing. Originally, McAteer went up top, but she's drifted back into that same position. Looks like it's more of a like-for-like change with Woodham in that left wing-back role and McAteer just behind Katie Barton.
Well, we've seen Woodham really have that licence to get forward, something that she really enjoys. That has been to great effect at times for Wales. Rachel Rowe. Well, tackled by Kalinina cleanly as well. And here comes another Ukrainian counter-attack, and Wales have got to be careful here. Andrikev. Wales have got to get it away, and they managed to do so in the end. But once again, out of nowhere, Ukraine almost stunning Wales with a counter-attack. And the play will be stopped here, but for all of Wales's possession, just one turnover of play.
Yeah, just Rachel Rowe maybe taking too many touches in the centre of the park, but that's a great tackle by Gemma Evans, fair tackle as well. She goes with the nearest side foot, wins the ball, just unfortunate with the ricochet. Ukraine's ability to get numbers supporting the attack has been outstanding this evening. Just when you think, oh, there's nobody there for that final pass, one of their wingers will come out of nowhere. And I have to be honest, I got a question: is the same desire there from the Welsh players to get back to defend?
Kalinina being walked off. Has been an important figure in this Ukrainian team this evening. The goal scorer has done a lot more than that as well, has really helped in the counter-attacks and helped the defence as well. And Ukraine temporarily down to 10. Plays her football for Poltava in Ukraine, been an international since 2018. One of the more experienced players in this squad. And is waiting for the referee's permission to come back into play. Here's Ingle. Hayley Ladd. Holland. Very direct running from Kerry Holland. Didn't work out on that occasion. In fact, Kerry Holland made a very good interception, I think we should have pointed out, in that previous Ukrainian move. That vital touch on Andrikev.
Oh, there's no doubt in her work rate. Love to see her GPS stats, I'll be honest. Every game, the amount of ground she covers is outstanding.
And has looked Wales' most useful attacking player at times. A Rachel Rowe might have something to say about that as she picks up the ball. It falls to Ladd. There's space now. There's an opportunity for Wales towards Barton. Woodham's cross. Fishlock coming in. Still there for Wales. Well, it's better, and it's more threatening. Just that final ball, Gwenan.
Yeah, I think the final ball was a bit better on this occasion. It was a little bit... well, she changed the angle on it, didn't she? I honestly thought Fishlock was going to get on the end of that there. She could jump very high, really powerful in the air to be on that occasion.
Fishlock. Early cross to Barton, he's pushed in the back. Penalty! Well, the Ukrainians are not happy about the decision. For Wales, it provides a lifeline. Well, we certainly hope that Kayleigh Barton isn't hurt here, but she has won a penalty for her side. And like in Llanelli, she'll want to take it as well.
Similar to the game on Friday evening, I think Wales haven't looked likely to score in the second half, but a penalty has given them the best opportunity. It's very clumsy, and especially considering that actually I don't think Kayleigh Barton was close to getting the ball either, so there was no need for it.
Well, it is Kayleigh Barton. Now, bear in mind, at Parker Scarlets, she went to the keeper's left. What does she do on this occasion? This is where psychology comes into play.
Yeah, it does. I'm going to be surprised to see her go the same way. I think she hit it quite well, but you just got to back yourself in these situations. You know, they practice both sides. She's adept at taking penalties. She'll be confident.
Kayleigh Barton with the opportunity to draw Wales level against Ukraine for the second game in a row. Roof of the net, no doubt about that finish. And Wales are back in it once again thanks to a penalty from Kayleigh Barton.
Well, it was more about power this time, wasn't it? You know, there was precision on Friday evening, straight down the middle, power. No chance for Kelly-Shook in the goal. You see here, just foot straight through it, using the laces. High into the roof of the net. It's a great penalty.
Hit with such pace, her third in this campaign, and her 20th goal for her country. Well, that will lift Wales. It did seem that Wales were really struggling to get behind the Ukrainian back line to really threaten the goalkeeper Kelly-Shook, but they have a lifeline. It's 1-1.
Well, in the first half, they had many opportunities in there. They were wasteful. Second half, they struggled to actually create those opportunities. Maybe a little bit of fortune with the luck. However, as I said, I think it was a really clumsy challenge. There was no need for it at all. Giving Wales a lifeline.
Rowe. Well, that's got the Welsh fans going. Not that they've needed much of that. Been terrifically vocal throughout this game.
I think what's important to remember as well is, you know, the head-to-head. You know, we saw at half-time the possibility, obviously, if Wales were losing but on the same amount of points, they're gonna lose that position to Ukraine because of the head-to-head. Whereas, you know, if it finishes like this, it'll probably then go towards goal difference.
Kalanina making way. Pansulaya also came on in Llanelli. And incidentally, that goal for Kayleigh Barton at 20th for Wales takes her above Craig Bellamy in the all-time goal-scoring list. So she's in fine company, and she has scored, in terms of important goals, that one on Friday night and this one could prove to be very, very important in the grander scheme of things. Here's Fishlock. Tries it! Oh, magnificent! Fishlock to the rescue again with such quality. How good is she? Jess Fishlock with another one for the collection. It was an absolute beauty, and Wales are in front because of it.
What a strike. That was an absolute bullet of an effort. Just got a body behind it, laces. Kelly Shook, absolutely no chance. And I'll be honest, you know, she scored, what's that? That's her 43rd goal now, if I'm correct. That's one of her best ones. She had a great goal recently with just that touch, and it just sat up well for her, didn't it? Great technique. You know, absolute perfect technique for youngsters. Watching, get your body, your knee over the ball, strike through with your laces, the follow through. Outstanding.
You don't stop those. Fishlock now one away from equaling Helen Ward, who's watching on in the studio. And 2 more for a new record. Barton is through, keep it in well. Although she's off the line, and Rowe, I think, spotted that. Well, there's a confidence now about Wales. They've turned this game on its head. Found it so difficult to get it at 1-1, but now it's 2-1. And the group changes as well because of it. And Ukraine have got to offer something different than what they have in this second half. They've sat back, and Wales have finally taken their chances.
Yeah, you're right, Simon. It's the first time in both these ties now we're going to see Ukraine chasing the game. And I think what will happen then, it'll open more gaps up for Wales. But Wales need to be, you know, clever. They need to manage the game. They need to be better in possession.
Quickly taken to Andrikov. Ladd staying on her feet. Time to perfection that tackle, but here's Basanska. Ladd again in the way. Things can change so quickly in qualifying, and from a position where Wales thought that they would struggle to get anything maybe from this game. In the space of a few minutes, it's now 2-1. A penalty and
a rocket.
An absolute rocket, you're right, from Fishlock. It's always become cliche to talk about Jess's achievements and her quality. Time and time again, she provides that for Wales. And this is what it means, Gwenan, in terms of Group B4. Wales back on top.
Yeah, and as expected, you know, I'll be honest, I think the expectations that the players put on themselves, that's what they'll be expecting as well. And at times, you need a bit of luck. You know, I'd say in a sense the penalty was, but it wasn't in another way, because I think it was a penalty. But then you also need a piece of magic at times, and how many times, as you've mentioned, you know, as Fishlock, well, that is definitely up there with one of her. She's had some great strikes. I remember her 100th cap, Northern Ireland. Obviously in the playoffs with that volley at the Cardiff City Stadium, and many others, but that's definitely up there, just a sweet strike.
I think our great friend Helen Ward in the studio would concede that she'd want to see Jess Fishlock get this record. I know goals mean everything to goal scorers, but in terms of Fishlock's contribution to everything in the women's game, then she probably is deserving of that accolade if it comes.
Oh, most certainly, and I think it's really important to remember as well that Jess has played the majority of her games probably in a central midfield role. Yeah, okay, at times she's been playing in that number 10, that more advanced role, but especially early on, her first cap, first goal, she was playing, as she is now, in like a double pivot in midfield. So when you consider that on top of, you know, the travel from the numerous countries that she's been playing in, America, Australia, Germany, France, it's quite hard actually to put the right words on the actual impact that she's had on Welsh football.
It's not a win yet. I've learned to not count chickens covering Wales over the years, and this has been one of Fishlock's more quiet games. You'd feel it started the position in a deep position, started the game in a deep position, I should say. You've seen her push forward deliberately in this second half, and what a strike that was.
I think it's one of those as well, that when you, as soon as you've hit that, you know you've caught it.
I knew you were going to say that. It's just hit the perfect spot.
It just sat up lovely as well, didn't it? But as you mentioned, you know, the game isn't over. It's about managing that now.
And this is another side of Wales that we need to see now. What do they do from here? 2-1 up, great position. Can they afford to sit back, or do they go on for the third? Try and get a third. Great challenge on Fishlock. Goes forward to Barton. Can't understate the importance of her penalty as well. Well taken. And that really set Wales on their way, set them level. Here's James. Rowe. Woodham in supports. Good run. Just the pass not quite there. Patrick.
Yeah, to answer your question in terms of, you know, what do Wales do? Do they go more defensive? I'm a big believer, you sit back too deep, you're inviting pressure on yourself. Attack is the best form of defence, however, it's just having that balance. Obviously, you're a little bit more careful. In attack, you're just picking your moments on as to how many numbers will join forward and when you join forward.
Olivia Clark is down here. Now, Laura O'Sullivan not with the group at the moment, leaving for personal reasons. And on the bench is Poppy Soper and Safia Middleton-Patel. There seemed to be some activity on that bench, Gwenan.
Yeah, I think it was Rhiannon Roberts. Seemed to be putting his shin pads on.
See at the top of your screen there, Rhiannon Roberts. It's been a quiet second half for Olivia Clark, which is a good thing. But this is not an ideal way to finish it. We hope she's okay.
I can't remember him having to make any saves. She's obviously had to pick the ball out the back of the net. One or two maybe crosses that maybe slash shots that she's had to deal with, but nothing major.
Talks in her online column on the BBC Sport Wales website of the support that she's had from Laura O'Sullivan. Obviously rivals for that goalkeeping position, but has talked about what a class act Laura has been in her support of Olivia. Yeah, I don't think that's any surprise to anybody that knows Laura O'Sullivan, just the type of personality that she is, very caring, you know, an ideal teammate. And his support and just her professionalism as well. Double change here for Ukraine. Andrikov being replaced by Kozlova, who also came on in the game on Friday. So a forward change, and unsurprisingly a forward change, because Ukraine have sat back for most of this second half and find themselves 2-1 down. Malakova is the other player coming in. And an important final 5 minutes, and as Rhiannon Roberts comes on, we see, Gwenan, the moments which changed this game for Wales, or one of them at least, from Kayleigh Barton. Well, as I mentioned, I don't think Wales looked like scoring until they had that penalty, and she kept the composure so well. Questions over which side to go, having gone to the keeper's left in the reverse fixture Friday evening. Just put her foot straight through. Fishlock tries it again. I think we can allow her that. It actually was in a similar position. Not in the half volley, mind you. And Rhiannon Roberts, who will be hurting, I think, after that mistake made in the game on Friday. It was uncharacteristic of Rhiannon Roberts, who has been such a stalwart for this Wales team over the years. Oh, and Gemma Evans just about puts it out. Oh, it could have been a huge mistake there. Kozlova was lurking, and it is a corner, and Wales have got to be careful here. Yeah, they look nervy at the back. There's a number of occasions that just miscommunication this time between Evans and Clark, and Evans actually did really well just to get a toe on that, get away from danger. Well, having worked so hard to get in front, Wales can't afford to be sloppy at the back now. Comes into that near post. Cancellara And the header from Kozlova, an easy one for Olivia Clark to deal with. Clark plays for Bristol City, former Coventry player. She did have a loan spell at Watford not too long ago. There's a clash of heads here. And the referee right to stop the play. It was Petrick who went up with Rachel Rowe. Well, it was a fair contest between the two. Just a clash of heads, Gwenan, and I think Rachel Rowe, it's not often that you would see her stay down like this.
No, she's one tough character. I guess you just said, you know, there's nothing malicious, just a clash of heads. So hopefully both players recover okay. Obviously, you know, precautions need to be done these days with, and rightly so, with any head injury.
And Rachel Rowe receiving treatment from the medical team, and I think there wouldn't be any need for any risks here. And Petrick as well, feeling the brunt of that collision. We've got to be so careful with concussion protocol these days. Any doubt about the condition of the players after a head injury, and it is best to not take any risks. And I'm sure the Welsh medical staff would have gone through that protocol. I think Petrick wants to come on as well. But, well, as we have had a stoppage, I'm going to task Gwenan with the responsibility, as ever, for your player of the match, Gwenan.
Well, I'm going with a Welsh player at the minute because they're winning. Although sometimes I don't agree with that rule. I think Fishlock has made me question the decision with that rocket, but no, the player on the ball now, Kerry Holland. I think she's been outstanding in all aspects of the game, really good in her 1v1. Offensively has always been a threat, always been an option available, and as per usual, the ground covered. Defensively, putting pressure on, pressing Ukrainian defence, and also tracking back where possible in that wing-back role, and is now tasked with going into centre midfield as well.
So a player of the match award for Kerry Holland tonight. The ultimate award would be for 3 points. Can Wales hold on here? Ball is with Vasanska. Played by James. Well, it's only until late in this game that we've seen Ukraine really venture forward here. And the decision goes Wales' way. It was Kansularia who went down.
I think if it stays like it is, they'll be bitterly disappointed. Their game plan, their tactics have been absolutely spot on, just undone by that silly decision, that harsh, not harsh, sorry, but you know, just the clumsiness of the tackle on, or coming together on Kayleigh Barton for the penalty, and then a slice of magic has undone them from Fishlock.
We are going to be watching that Fishlock goal for weeks to come, I'm sure. So many goals over the years. One that springs to mind, of course, the goal against Bosnia. 7 minutes of added time here, so still work for Wales to do. And no nonsense approach from Ladd. Important 7 minutes.
Oh, hugely important. You know, as Katrin, Katie and Helen were talking about half-time in terms of the need to finish top of Group B. To help them with a more favourable draw is so important. It puts them in a good position now, going into those last 2 games.
Yeah, those games against Croatia and Kosovo in July. Ball forward to Clark. No problem.
Yeah, if you just look at the team now, as I mentioned just a couple of minutes ago, Kerry Holland's actually into centre midfield alongside Angharad James. So she's been industrious as ever, hasn't she? Covered a lot of ground, Angharad James. Rhiannon Roberts into that right wing back, and they're just a little bit more a little bit deeper in their positions, sort of more defensive, just to absorb any pressure. And then Fishlock's stepped a little bit higher.
Semkiv's ball is dealt with by Ingle. Evans. Punching tackle on her. I think Evans wanted the free kick there. Didn't get it. Woodham with the throw for Wales. Well, they've sung their hearts out, those Wales fans, and they'll be celebrating tonight for sure if it stays like this.
Yeah, and credit to them, because there was times where it was really difficult for them as well. I'm sure periods of play weren't great.
Still work to do in Poznan. Kasanska. Ball forward from Kimmich. And away by Woodham. No sign of panic from Wales during this game. You would say that, even at 1-0 down. I think Rhian Wilkinson was clear in her changes that she made, and she will be absolutely delighted if she gets through this with a 2-1 win. It's not over yet, though. Ball into the middle. Fishlock gets a foot in, goes to ground, and that is the experience as well of Jess Fishlock. That kills some time for Wales with the tackle there on Kozlova.
It does two things. It kills time, as you said, but it also just takes a little bit of sting out of the momentum that Ukraine are trying to build with that wave upon wave of attack.
The national anthem being sung loud and proud in Poznan, and with good reason. Fishlock's goal, another one for her grand collection of fantastic strikes over the years. Is it enough to win this game for Wales? Ball back to Rhiannon Roberts. Here's Ingle. Mishits. It's let Ukraine in. Hulishchenko. Good recovery. Huge final few minutes now for Wales. Handball, free kick. And the pressure is on.
I don't think there's any real argument either. That was clearly a lifted arm by Lily Woodham. Huge defensive moment for Wales to defend against now.
Basanska, the left footer over the ball. Concentration paramount for Wales. The Belgian officials just waiting for a bit of calmness in that penalty area before this free kick can be taken. Basanska, not a bad delivery. Oh, it's hit the post! Heart-in-mouth moment for Wales. And Clark will collect this one. And she will not let go of this one in a hurry. That was close.
Oh, wow. I'm hiding behind my hands at the minute, Simon. I just don't think Wales have looked comfortable all evening at the back. They didn't on Friday either, which is something that we haven't come to expect, actually. Wales are normally really solid defensively.
It could be a sliding doors moment in terms of this Group B4. Ukraine aren't finished yet. Hulishchenko, challenged by Ladd. Still 2 minutes at least for Wales to hang on here. And the decision goes Wales' way, and that will kill some time. Well, just on view of that replay, I think it was almost an own goal, wasn't it?
Yeah, Gemma Evans, I think, just flicks off the back of her head. But, you know, we talked about luck, didn't we? You know, and needing a bit of luck. That works on both ends of the pitch. It's Holland, I think, has just picked up the yellow.
So a booking for Holland, but if Wales can get the 3 points, that will matter little, I think. What a shift she's put in, the player of the match, Kerry Holland, but well, Gwen and Harris can't look. Wales need to get forward and just get that ball to safety, and here is Hara James, lovely play. Rowe, what does she do? Corner or cross?
No, keep it there.
And Kerry Holland decides to do the former, and you can't blame her. Here's Rowe. Wales have a result to protect here. They've given away the free kick. Less than a minute of the 7 to go. And this could be a huge moment in terms of Wales's qualifying group. A huge result in terms of Wales's qualifying group. McAteer just looking to get the sting out of the game here, take the pressure off. It's given away by Howard James. Here's Patrick. Time running out for Ukraine. Thump forward. Ingle. Needs to get a foot in here. It's a decent cross. Oh, it's in! It's 2-2. Take nothing away from the header from Kozlova. But Ukraine grab a point in added time. Oh, it's a sickener for Wales, who wanted all three. It's 2-2.
And on reflection, you can't say that they don't deserve it either. Yes, they haven't created a huge amount of opportunities, but when they have been clinical. And just in the build-up to that, looking at Wales, you know, as the ball was out wide, Ingle dragged out into that wide area. I was looking, it was 2v2 in the middle. I think just do your job, your responsibilities as a Wales player. Make sure that your goal side win that 1v1 battle. As you see here, Sophie Ingle dragged out. Jerem's trying to get back into that central position. Ingle easily beaten, and there's just a slight deflection off it. But as I've mentioned, in terms of you know, maybe Wales players not having that desire, Kozlova wants to get on that. Look at that desire, that passion to want to get to that ball first. Easily beats Rhiannon Roberts. Poor defending from her. Question marks in terms of Clark. Yeah, maybe can she come out a little bit and control the box? But again, you've got to praise Ukrainians in most aspects of the game this evening. They've been the better.
It's over. Another point, but it should have been 3 after Fishlock's fine finish. Wales are still unbeaten in Group B4, but it's a sickener for Rhian Wilkins' side. Rhian Wilkins' side can almost feel like this was a defeat. You can see on Fishlock's face the disappointment. Wales still unbeaten, but it's finished in Poznan. Ukraine 2, Wales 2.
Well, what a blow for Wales right at the end there, Katie, and there will be an element of disappointment. They got themselves back into the game, and just in the final few seconds there.
And frustration. I think they did so well to get themselves back into the game. That penalty really re-energised the group. A wonderful goal from Jessica Fishlock. But again, just showing our vulnerability at the back and allowing Ukraine to get back in. They always look like a threat, and they punished us right at the end.
And elements to look at for Wales in defence, in attack.
Yeah, definitely. I think, again, it's a performance as a whole that you're probably disappointed with as a head coach and as the players. You know, not taking chances when they come, not creating enough chances, really clear-cut ones. But then to get yourself in that position, I fully expected Wales to go on and win that fairly comfortably once they'd gone ahead. But credit to Ukraine for getting themselves back in and you know, nicking a point at the death.
Well, that's the first goal for Ukraine. Let's have a look then at the second. Yes, a roller coaster for Wales. We thought Jess Fishlock had won it with a wonder goal, but Ukraine, they never gave up, did they? 97 minutes on the clock, and they get the equaliser, breaking Welsh hearts. And yeah, very much a blow for Wales. So let's have a look then at the table. And Wales, well, they do stay, well, look at that. They are now in second place. Croatia beating Kosovo earlier this evening. But Wales are still very much in the race. And I think they have actually secured a place in those playoffs. So they wanted to be top of the group. They've still got 2 games to go. Long way to go in this qualifying group, but that will definitely be a blow. As I said, it's difficult to know where to start, isn't it? Because that penalty for Kayleigh Barton, they got themselves very much back into it. But I guess Rhian Wilkinson will be feeling very, very frustrated at the moment that they just can't keep a lead at the moment.
Yeah, we talked about in the Nations League, it's about finding that consistent performance. And, you know, you're going into extra time, we should have enough experience to see the game out. And that goal will come from just that lack of desire, that we were out-muscled on that last goal. And we have to do better in those situations if we want to go on to the playoffs and compete against better teams than Ukraine.
Do you think that she needs to know her starting 11 very, very soon?
Yeah, I do, because I think we spoke about it briefly at half-time. You don't get consistency as a player if you're constantly in and out of the side. I like that there are changes in game. I think that's what the 5 subs are there for. But I think in terms of a starting 11, most successful teams have a pretty steady sort of 12 or 13 players that will be predominantly in that first 11. But there's so many changes at the moment. Maybe it disrupts. Maybe that's why we're seeing it taking a little bit of time for the team to get going within a game. But as I said, once they got ahead, you really felt they were going to go on and win the game.
Oh, it's such a odd night, isn't it? There's disappointment, but also Wales have managed to get a point. The men, they are in action on Thursday night. We will have highlights, match of the day as they take on Gibraltar. But as for Wales women, well, we thought that they had won it. Jess Fishlock nearing in, getting closer to Helen Ward's record, but it wasn't to be. Once again, frustration and plenty for manager Rhian Wilkinson to ponder. They go again next month. They've got 2 games, and I'm sure you'll be joining us then. No Star, good night.